What just happened in Qatar was insane. I'm sitting down to watch what I thought was going to be straightforward McLaren victory lap in Qatar, right? Piastri is on pole, Norris is right there. It's basically McLaren's championship to lose. And then something absolutely bonkers happened that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. Max Verstappen just pulled off one of the most insane strategic masterclasses I've ever witnessed, and it sent the entire 2025 title fight into complete chaos. Stick with me because this race is exactly why Formula One is the most intense sport on the planet. Look, this race was supposed to be the moment where Lando Norris pretty much locked up the championship. Instead, it just became a three-way deathmatch heading into Abu Dhabi, and I need to walk you through every single moment. So let's set the scene. Oscar Piastri absolutely nailed it in qualifying with a new track record. The man broke the Lusail circuit record. His teammate Lando Norris is right there in second, just 1/10 behind. Then you've got Max Verstappen in third, 25 points down in the championship. Here's the tension. Norris has a 22-point lead over Piastri, and if he can just manage a decent finish here, the title is basically his. Turn 1, and this is where it gets interesting. Norris gets a terrible launch from the dirty side of the grid. Verstappen, the guy just launches past him like it's nothing. Piastri is leading, but suddenly you've got this three-car battle brewing, and for the first few laps everything looks normal. Mercedes drivers George Russell and Kimi Antonelli are sitting pretty in 4th and 5th. Carlos Sainz in the Williams is hanging in there. Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, everyone settling into their rhythm. The tire situation is brutal here at Lusail. Pirelli has mandated a maximum 25-lap stint length, so everyone is going to have to make at least 2 pit stops in this 57-lap race. That's the constraint we're working with. But then lap 7, Nico Hülkenberg and Pierre Gasly collide at turn 1. It's a moment of chaos. Both cars are damaged, the safety car comes out, and suddenly every team has to make a critical decision. Do we pit under the safety car or stay out? This is where the story happens. Verstappen pits, Mercedes pits, Kimi Antonelli and George Russell both come in, Williams pits, Ferrari pits. Racing Bulls pits, Haas pits, Alpine pits, Aston Martin pits, Sauber pits, literally everyone except McLaren stays out. And here's where you can feel the tension building. Both McLarens are staying out. Piastri is leading, Norris is behind him, and McLaren has decided for whatever reason that they are going to build up a gap instead of pitting under the safety car. Will Joseph, the strategist on the radio, is telling Norris his rivals have lost all their flexibility. But here's the problem. Everyone else, they've just been in the pits for fresh rubber. Verstappen on fresh tires, he's going to be fast. And now both McLarens are on old rubber with one massive pit stop cycle still ahead of them. So the race restarts, and Piastri actually does a beautiful job managing the gap. He's up front, Norris is just behind him, and Verstappen sitting in third place, beating his time. Watch his discipline here. He's not pushing flat out like a madman. He's managing, he's thinking. Meanwhile, you've got this entire train of cars behind them. Sainz in the Williams, Antonelli in the Mercedes, Fernando Alonso in Aston Martin, Liam Lawson in the Racing Bull. McLaren's telling both drivers to push harder. You're faster than Verstappen, they keep saying. And on the face of it, they're right. But here's the thing, Verstappen isn't pushing, he's waiting for pit stop lap 24 and 25 to come around, knowing that both McLarens have to pit on consecutive laps. Piastri comes in first on lap 24, clean stop. Norris comes in on lap 25, also clean. They're back out, and they're trying to chase, but now, and this is the key moment, they're both on fresh tires, they've got a big gap to the rest of the field, and Verstappen is sitting in the first place. Verstappen pits on lap 32. He comes out third. This is when you start to realize that early pit stop under the safety car, that wasn't a gamble, that was genius. The next 10 laps are a clinic in championship level driving. Verstappen is managing the tires, not destroying them. He's keeping Piastri at arm's length, sometimes 3 seconds, sometimes 5, sometimes 8. Piastri is pushing hard, but he's stuck. Norris is also pushing, but he's further back, getting caught behind traffic. And this is where McLaren's strategy really cost them. Norris can't get past Antonelli's Mercedes, and every lap, Verstappen is extending his lead. Watch Norris here, he's on fresh tires, he should be flying through the field, but instead he's stuck. He's frustrated. He nearly spins out of turn 14, nearly sends it into a high-speed crash. And that moment, that's when you realize Norris has mentally lost this race. His advantage is gone. So we're heading into the final laps, and here's the situation. Verstappen's got a comfortable 11 to 13 second lead. He's just cruising to victory. Piastri is in second, pushing as hard as he can, but he's stuck. Carlos Sainz in the Williams is in third, and this is where we have to appreciate how strong Sainz has been, because he's basically been in the right place at the right time with the right strategy. Then on lap 56, Kimi Antonelli has a moment. He goes wide at the exit of one of the corners, opens the door, and suddenly Lando Norris is through into fourth place. Too late to catch Sainz, but he salvages fourth. He salvages some points. And Verstappen takes the checkered flag. 7 wins this season. He's back in the championship fight. This man went from being 104 points down mid-season to being just 12 points behind Lando Norris heading into Abu Dhabi. That's not just impressive, that's insane. Let's talk about how everyone finished, because there's actually a lot to unpack here beyond just the top 3. Red Bull, Verstappen gets first place, 25 points. This team just executed perfect race. But Yuki Tsunoda in the second car finished 10th. Solid recovery, solid execution. McLaren, this is the heartbreak story. Oscar Piastri finishes second, 18 points. Lando Norris finishes fourth, 12 points. They got 30 points as a team, which is good, but they should have gotten way more. This race was theirs to lose, and they absolutely did. Williams, Carlos Sainz absolutely delivers. He's on the podium in third place with 15 points. This is Williams' second podium this season, and honestly, this might be the most impressive drive of the day. Alex Albon finishes 11th. Mercedes, George Russell finishes 6th with 8 points. Kimi Antonelli finishes 5th with 10 points. So Mercedes is getting 18 points on the day, which is solid. These guys are in the fight for the second in the Constructors' Championship, and they're picking up the pieces after McLaren's chaos. Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso finishes 7th with 6 points. Lance Stroll, he retires early, DNF, so Aston Martin just getting half a result here, but Alonso's consistency is keeping them in the hunt. Ferrari, Charles Leclerc finishes 8th with 4 points. Lewis Hamilton finishes 12th with 0 points. Ferrari had a rough day. They're struggling all weekend, zero performance, Leclerc said, and this result shows it. They're fighting with Leclerc's consistency, but Hamilton being outside the points, that's tough. Racing Bulls, Liam Lawson finishes 9th with 2 points. Isaac Hadjar DNF, he had a puncture in the final laps of the race. So they got just couple of points from Lawson, but Hadjar's out. These guys are fighting for positions and they're getting what they can. Sauber, Gabriel Bortoleto finishes 13th with 0 points. Nico Hülkenberg DNF, he was the guy who crashed with Gasly on lap 7, so Sauber got nothing on the day. Tough break. Alpine, Franco Colapinto finishes 14th, 1 lap down, 0 points. Pierre Gasly finishes 16th, 1 lap down, also 0 points. Alpine's been struggling all season. Haas, Esteban Ocon finishes 15th, 1 lap down. Oli Behrman, DNF. Haas had a really tough day too. But here's what really matters about this race. The narrative. This wasn't just a Grand Prix. This was a championship-altering moment. McLaren had this race. They had the grid position. They had the pace. They had the strategy flexibility. And they threw it away with one decision. Now we've got a three-way title fight. Heading into Abu Dhabi, Norris is on 408 points, Verstappen is on 396 points, just 12 back. Oscar Piastri is on 392 points, just 16 back from Norris. All three of them can still win the championship. So why did this happen? Let's be honest, the 25-lap tire stint limit was meant to be restrictive. It was designed to force 2 stops. But what it actually did was make strategy even more critical. That early safety car on lap 7, that was a race-winning or race-losing moment, depending on which side you were on. Verstappen and the rest of the grid saw the opportunity and they took it. McLaren looked at the same situation and said, no, we're good. They gambled on track position, they gambled on pace, and it cost them, because in Formula 1, being right 95% of the time doesn't matter if you're wrong 5% of the time in a championship race. Here's the big takeaway. Max Verstappen just proved why he's won 4 consecutive world championships. He sees opportunities, he executes flawlessly, and he stays in the fight. McLaren and Lando Norris are still the favorites heading into Abu Dhabi, but they know now that they are not untouchable. Oscar Piastri knows he still got a shot, and Verstappen, he's hungry. This is going to be the most epic championship finale we had in years. And if you want to see me lose my mind when Abu Dhabi happens, you need to subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that notification bell. Drop a comment below telling me who you think is winning the championship, because this is genuinely unpredictable. I'll see you next weekend for the championship decider. This is going to be insane.